McDonald with Microcom Technologies, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's webinar with Fanvil. Today's host is Tommy Lee, and he'll be presenting today. If anyone has any questions, please submit them in the question box so that Tommy of today's presentation. Tommy, thank you so much for being with us again. We greatly appreciate it. And as always, looking forward to whatever it is you're sharing with us today. It's always very, very interesting. So Tommy, I'm finished for now. Please go ahead and take it on over.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate the great introduction. Hi, my name is Tommy Lee. I'm the VP of Sales for Fanvil, based a little bit north of where Microcom is. I'm in Northern California, where they're in Southern California. We issue great products through our joint cooperation and being able to channel our products not only on the West Coast, but nationwide through Microcom. Today, what I'm going to do is really focus in on the title product, which is our wireless product. For those who are veterans of seeing our webinars, I've always mentioned that Fanvil really kind of has another sub-brand name, which is Linkvil. And I think for the first time, we're going to shift some of the focus in on our Linkvil, which is really meant to focus in on our wireless solutions. As we know, wireless technology has become quite a bit. I mean, all of us are carrying mobile devices, especially mobile phones, and then yet that tends to translate into the office because no one really sits behind a desk in a location anymore. No doubt that demand is still there, but it's also supplemented by many of the same technologies that's deployed by wireless. But I also realize that people can come to us and may not heard of Microcom or Fanvil for the first time. So I'm going to go ahead and actually provide a quick company introduction really shortly and kind of give you the differences why you want to work with Fanvil and Linkvil for the first time through Microcom. To give you a little bit of a background, whoops, sorry about that. Let me see. As we know, Fanvil is really the parent name, and what we do is that we actually build endpoints. And what are endpoints? Everything is really based on IP, which is an open standard. And Fanvil's been around for 23 years. For many people who may not have heard of us, we've actually been in the industry providing lots of endpoints such as IP phones, door access units, security products, not only through our name, but through many of the large enterprise names. And if you've been in the UC marketplace for many, many years, chances are you probably come across our product line. But what we do is we're a manufacturer, and Microcom to Fanvil, they sort of serve as a distribution hub and providing many of our solutions. Our headquarters is based in China, and a lot of the manufacturing facilities are located throughout different centers of China. But we also have a manufacturing facility based in Vietnam as well. So we're very flexible in being able to where we do, and Linkvil to Fanvil is really a sub-brand which we concentrate on wireless solutions. More on that in the future is why go ahead and work along with us. The big differentiator is that Fanvil is really a global partner. And as a global partner, we realize that tech support is something that we have to bring basically finger to finger to where we meet in the region. And to meet the needs of really all of North America and America's region, we actually have local tech support really headed up by Hector, but as well, we also have senior engineers in China, Jack Yu, which is actually headquartered in China, but both of us work really close together. Why am I showing this? Is because we want to provide transparent access for all of our partners to gain access to the people who have a lot of the product knowledge, so that if you need help in getting our products online, or you're going through a trial just to see whether or not our solutions meet your needs, we have the support there to really support you as well. I, on the other hand, support on the commercial side, primarily for North America. My direct number is right here for your reference. So again, the way I like to tell a lot of our partners is we're there to kind of help you support either on the commercial side, knowing how to gain access to our products, and then you have the technical side. And again, if you forget our names, then you could just always go ahead and hit sales at Fanvil. It'll always come to one of us to get your support moving forward. You may want to know that besides the endpoint, our products work in conjunction with many of the PBX providers. Those that are in the industry for a long time, we have dozens and dozens of different PBX providers, and providing a partial idea of who the people we work with that our products work along. This is just really a partial list of all of the different switch providers that we work with, ranging from, in alphabetical order, all the different people that we work with, so that somewhere in your company, if your building has one of these PBX clouds, chances are we can go ahead and provide that with you as well. So that this is the second half of the solution that's required to kind of put us moving forward. Now that the endpoints, this is what we do. We actually divide our columns, and our columns are growing very much as we are going ahead and maturing in the marketplace. Obviously, one of our major product lines is IP phones. And in the IP phones, really, you can divide it into several different verticals, because IP phones go into businesses. It also goes into hospitality as well. And yet, within each of the different segments, we provide the ability to address specific needs for that vertical. Hospitality needs are very different than business needs. And on the other hand, we also have nursing home needs and nursing care needs, where their phones require a different interface going there, where the buttons are bigger, sound is much louder, and also couples with a lot of accessories that provide remote capability of setting off alarms for people that have lanyards to wrap around them. I mean, you name it, we go for it. And we have access control, which provide door access and security, coupled with headsets, conference systems, public address systems with speakers, door accesses, I mean, you name it. And when you summarize all of these solutions put together, it is really where the IP technology touches the human. That's kind of where a lot of things do. Many people work on the PBXs, which handles a lot of the call function back and forth. Those takes place in the background. But when you actually go ahead and touch something, whether it's a door lock, a phone, a headset, or any of these intercoms, it's actually the device that people actually see, hear, and touch with their fingertips. But along with all this, we also provide to our partners management tools. And these management tools are provided to our partners, giving them one portal access and control over all of these devices. And we also work with all the different PBX providers, so that depending on how you want to manage the devices, you can work with either one. On some of our mobile devices, we also have a mobile access where we actually work with local Amazon servers, so that we provide you with mobile accessibility, so that when someone calls your door, you can go ahead and gain access and seeing who's at it and provide remote contacts. But for today, what I'm going to work on is really focusing on the different wireless products here, which is down here in the enterprise IP phone market. Even though we list it as an IP phone market, it will apply to across the whole thing, because even in nursing homes, nurses walk around, doctors walk around with a lot of different hallways, and they're very mobile. So we have to find something that really follows along with them. As you know, even with wireless technologies, you could walk into a candy store, and even the candy store will have their own wireless access, and that you could walk in, and so it's basically everywhere. So that's why I want to provide these solutions that provide the adaptability to adopt your business to meet all of the wireless needs that is outside of the mobile phone. This is the high-level view that we're going to look at, and there's really several different categories that we can do. We have Wi-Fi phones that's really outlined in these three, basically 4 segments here. We have general Wi-Fi that's actually looked at on these top 3. These 3, one which is ruggedized, and 2 versions which is Wi-Fi. What are these? These are really Wi-Fi points that can take advantage of existing access systems. That means that when you go home and you have your router, it'll actually have Wi-Fi throughout your house. You can actually use that system to go ahead and connect onto your SIP account and be able to run access meetings. Some of the new Wi-Fi handsets that we're just beginning to introduce beyond those that we've already provided, a ruggedized and an office system, is that we're beginning to introduce a new 620W Wi-Fi technology phone that's capable of showing video. Why do we want to do that? As you noted the previous slide, we actually have a lot of video and audio intercoms as well as access control, so that people can see at the door. The great news is that with this, you can actually see a person on a much larger display so that you can see whether it's a pizza delivery person at the door, and being able to access speed dial controls so that you can allow that person to come in through the door without pressing any keys. And one of the key differentiators, I'll talk about it more in the future. Obviously, a long-standing technology is DECT. This is a classic DECT phone, which is a single station, providing up to 10 different portable handsets when you have a small business that wants to go ahead and entertain DECT technology. Nothing new here, but it provides a great robust stability solution that if you like technology in DECT, we have a piece that can support your specific needs. One of the things that we began introducing is what we call Wi-Fi Halow. And Wi-Fi Halow really takes DECT to the next step. What it is technology that costs the same as DECT, but provides 2 to 3 times the distances of DECT, but costing the same. And this is what we feel is going to be the next step in providing long scalable technology that not only provides a scalable technology for small and medium businesses, but also being able to afford, being able to scale up to much larger enterprises. I'm going to show some examples of that. Beyond that, let's talk more about wireless, where we began to now introduce predefined Android devices, both at a mobile device as well as an iPad type device that support LTE. LTE, a lot of people like to use that as a backup and being able to use LTE technology. And we have phones here that have Android. This is a great marriage for companies that use an Android plugin to do inventory scanning, hospital scanning of different patients and everything that run off of an Android app. They can go ahead and take this off their device, and this actually has a scanner where you can go ahead and scan codes. And not only is it using the local network, but you could also use the backup LTE in case things go down. And there's different size requirements depending on what your application is, but more about that moving forward. Let's talk a little bit about our Wi-Fi series phones. In this Wi-Fi series, we have a ruggedized portable phone, and what this means that it conforms to a much higher IP rated standard where you can it's actually more water resistant. It actually defies against a lot of water resistance going to a much deeper level. It goes up against dusty and dirty environments, but they all are rated so that you can actually drop them like 1.8 meters, which is slightly under 6 feet tall, and they're made to stand when you take a phone and drop it from your shoulder down for most people. So there's several different items, and we talked about the video technology moving forward with these 3 models. Let's dig a little bit deeper on the 611, which is really key. And this 611 is really just the ruggedized version of the newer version, which is the 620. The 620 has a much larger display, and now we began to add a couple of new speed dial keys, whereas in the older version, the 611, this is the only one that is ruggedized. So if you're looking for something that's rugged to handle warehouse or ruggedized applications, this is the one you got. But if something, on the other hand, you're working in an office environment where you need some additional speed dials, we decided to add some speed dial keys and speed access keys where you can assign one key where you can see who it is and be able to push a button and be able to let people in if that's what you want to program it to do. So these 2 really access your existing Wi-Fi system and be able to answer calls across that. Obviously, this ruggedized has IP67, which this one I believe conforms to IP66, and this really provides the ability to go much deeper and waterproof and dustproof. Both of these devices support Bluetooth, giving you not only just remote, but the ability to put on your headset if that's something that you want to do moving forward. I provided a comparison table just for your reference, and feel free to go and reach out to Julie. I'll be more than happy to provide a copy of this presentation to her, so you can kind of get a side view of where things stand and where we actually provide a differentiation of those highlighted either in blue or red, depending on what model you're looking at. The 611 is really the high ruggedized version, where the 620 is an enhancement of the 610, providing key enhancements here where we actually increase battery life to improve longevity and everything like that moving forward. But I'm not going to go into it, but you can have it here for your future reference moving forward. A little bit deeper on the 620, since this is a new product that we're introducing, one of the things that people really loved about all of our technology is that you can actually click on the right or the left hand of what we call the smart key and be able to gain access to our digital display. I'll show what they look like in the future, but let's just push it even further and being able to provide some key facts and putting some of this, this display right at the front keypad. So we squish these keys a little bit and be able to provide basically a desk phone that is formatted in a mobile wireless thing. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You're also getting a larger display as well as a speakerphone and as well as a lit key. So we made a lot of enhancements while increasing battery life, because we realize some people have this on their hip or carry it in their bag all day and not worry about it. So we've made a lot of enhancements moving forward. We talked about having a push to talk key. We still have that in the side here, but we also, as these speed dial keys, we actually have a call transfer key. Can you imagine doing a transfer to a different extension without necessarily having to press the DSS key? So you can press the transfer and do one of these speed dials. So you could transfer it directly to an extension, or you can go ahead and have this programmable key. Again, for those that are interested in really renaming these things, because that's what our business is, we have a logo design that fits in the back where you can go ahead and put your logo in the back as well. We realize that Type-C is a great charger if you're not near your portable, because a lot of people take this and go to many different places and regions. You could use a USB-C port to go ahead and actually go to different regions and charge this device depending on what your charger is. Now I imagine this having a mute key. So we actually put in a mute key on this thing. And like I said, these are devices that typically hosted on desk phone keys, and we're trying to bring all of these features onto one device so that you have all of these devices onto one mobile access key. And you can now reach out to our distributors for samples if you want to go ahead and kick this around. I talked about the DSS keys. When you press on either of the program keys, you will have 8 on each side. If you press on the left or the right, you'll get access to Al and all these people that you gain access to and gain access. So you have 16 DSS keys all on one thing, and then you have those that you use the most on one programmable key that you use up front. And that key allows you just one button access. In addition to the side push to talk button, all this flexibility exists depending on what your needs are. That's really how it looks like when you have access to our DSS key accessible with just one push. Then of course, we're probably one of the first ones to introduce video, so that now you can see, if there's a construction person outside who needs access, you can now see through video over an open stand on an H.264 video on who's out there, so that you can read all of this throughout your home, your office, or your business, depending on how you want to do that, and being able to program one key so that you can go ahead and allow them to get in. This is where marrying all of the different technologies that we provide, merging into one solution, because we know it goes a lot further than just telephones, but being able to merge all of these endpoints onto one solid solution spectrum so that we have all the different spectrums that you can do. Now we go and end up with DECT. DECT's been around between close to 20 years right now. It's a very robust technology, and there are people that really swear by it. We have a solution for you too. It really provides up to 50 meters where you have a simple one-base solution. If you have outdoor and indoors between 350, you can go ahead and pair up to 10 handsets or up to 20 SIP accounts onto one base station. This is great if you have a restaurant that you just want to entertain for wireless technology. And then obviously this has a single base station. I'm not going to go through all of the different specs here, but it provides a base station where you have one single base station coupled with the DECT device. Obviously all these devices look the same, and all of these contain the great smart keys with the DSS codes that I just showed in the previous slide. And that's common amongst all of our phones, but we do accommodate all of the different wireless technologies that exist in the marketplace. Now I'm a little more excited to talk about our Halow series. We're one of the vendors that is exclusive in bringing out the next technology that goes beyond DECT. And here's where we come out with high technology. This is not a proprietary standard to Fanvil. We actually use this open standard, which is an IEEE 802.11ah protocol. And the reason why it's capable of doing that, because the operating frequency is sub 1 gigahertz. And that gives the radio signal true capability of going through many of the walls, steel walls, and all the glass to reach much further distance versus typical Wi-Fi, which is 2.4 or 5 or 6 gigahertz going through. And because of that, we're going to show you the differences between what Wi-Fi can do on this, but the cost difference between the two are the same. So you're getting really twice the bandwidth. Look at the transmission rate, 18 megabits per second versus a little bit over 1.2 over megabits per second. So you get more data, more technology over wider distances. And that's the reason why we're moving forward with this technology. And we think it's going to be the technology that's going to really take over for wireless. A picture is worth 1,000 words in Wi-Fi technology. Look at the left, which outlines Wi-Fi in yellow, DECT in blue, and Wi-Fi Halow in black. For indoor spec, we look at what's something that's like 20, 50 compared to 100 for indoors. What's 100 meters? 100 meters really inside of a football stadium. So I always use that analogy where if you fit a building that could fit inside of a football field, you have good enough range to really cover with one base station. Now let's look at the outdoor technology where you have no obstruction. For Wi-Fi, you have basically 100 meters, DECT about 300 meters, and then outdoor, it covers up to 700 meters, actually more than doubling the length of DECT in covering outdoor distances. This is great when you have one base station that can cover both of these technologies in an open scenario where all of a sudden our integrators could spend a lot less doing field assessment work and saying, do I need to put an extension, a DECT extension module here, another DECT here? And each extender module really will cost additional dollars where you wouldn't have to do that with one Wi-Fi Halow base station here. So this is really great technology moving forward. And this is one that we provide in a single cell solution that you can do here where you can pair up to 30 different handsets on the one station. However, if you have a much larger scale, you can use one as a manager, and that manager can manage really up to several, different bases, up to 20 different base stations, each one handling up to 30 each, giving you a total of up to 300, up to 300 meters each. So this really does scale from a single cell to a multi-cell using one. So if you're going into a restaurant that you know is going to expand, moving larger, guess what? You could use the same technology and scale it larger should your items need to expand. Very often when people provide DECT solutions, they start off with one really basic, but if you have to go from one to a multi-cell, you have to go to a whole different one, where this one, you can use the same technology moving forward, so it scales from low to a large solution moving forward. The way you put it together, very similar to DECT and how you put in this Halow solution. You have to overlap them so that all of these networks can be overlapped, and you can actually have each one of our H series phones overlap with each other so that they can actually talk to all the different things when they overlap, and they can walk through the different hallways and everything like that. So you could roam from one base station to another. A little bit more about some of the technical specs on our multi-cell. Again, you can connect up to 20 different connecting bases with one master, but then yet you can pair up to really 300 handsets total, each giving you that far range that I just talked about in the previous set. And great, because we can do that, this gives people a real scalable solution from not only SMBs, but from a large enterprise solution. And if you notice the consistency in all the handsets, this one was tuned in to really provide the ability to handle Halow. And again, it's under the Linkville name, which is a brand name which we're going to greatly expand from wireless technology moving forward. This is just a great case example. In fact, we use this on our own particular factory where we have a factory area exceeding 8,000 square meters. Where 8,000 square meters, that is really, you multiply that by 3, so 8 times 3, that's 2,400 square feet basically, and we can cover this just with 4 base stations. In a DECT environment, you will need multiple expansion modules and multiple base stations that far exceed the hardware requirement to go ahead and exceed these things moving forward, so you can cover much larger distances in these type of things. Not only does it do vertical, but it'll also do floors. Okay, so in our case, we actually put in one base station on each floor, covering our offices so that you can actually cover all of the different stations, and depending on what floor you want to go with. It also has vertical integration to show the 3D, where you can move up the elevator and actually have the connection, so you can go from floor to floor and moving up and down. So this is a great scenario that not only flexes horizontal range, but also vertical range as well, being able to give you that overlap environment so that each handset can roam from one floor to the other. And last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about our handsets. Many companies actually adopt an Android plug-in device where you can actually put in, and it runs off of an Android device where you have both a portable mobile access coupled with a scanner, or an iPad access. All of these have a way you can just plug in the device, which gives you the ability to communicate through them, but also being able to provide a remote mobile access. This is sort of a hybrid solution, but it gives you a coupled wireless handset where you can also pick it up while it's charging, and you can still entertain calls, because you can spend all day in the warehouse scanning barcodes, doing whatever you need to do, and still entertain calls while this is charging at the same time. So this is really a great solution, should this solution kind of fit your specific needs. A little bit more on the portable handset, and this is great where you could just put in a Verizon, a T-Mobile, or an AT&T, SIM card into this thing, and provide you with really backup protection and being able to give an LTE access or Ethernet access, depending on how you want to go ahead and access your data. And as well, we also have a much larger one, depending on what your specific needs are, where you can remove it from the base, do whatever you need to do remotely, and have it return to the base station when you're done. Okay, that's kind of it in a summary, and it's all available with the Fanvil, Linkville brand name, and also available through Microcom. Now I want to set aside some time with Julie to answer any questions and answers you have moving forward. And I want to thank you for your time. Now I'm here to answer any Q&As that you might have from the audience.
Thank you so much, Tommy, for that presentation. Very, very good and informative. And yes, I do have some questions for you from the audience. Let's get started with the first one. Here we go.
Yep.
Can you tell us, how is Fanvil approaching digital transformation and smart office / smart building trends?
Smart lines. Well, I think what I read from that question is how are we handling the upgrade from going from analog into digital, right? And in that, we have several different vehicles. Not only do we have all of our end products are IP based, which one of the things I didn't talk about in this session that we've talked about previous in Microcom is that we also have 2-wire products. So we realize that integrators out there face a lot of challenges moving forward. So when they're going from an analog, which is typically like a very very low gauge wire, a twisted pair, into a Cat5, a Cat6 wire for Ethernet, they go through lots of challenges. And we have gateways that you can actually transmit Ethernet over those 2-wire twisted pairs so that you can accommodate our access points. Beyond that, Fanvil also has a basic 1-port ATA, which also accommodates analog phones, which is also a bridge that kind of ports people into an existing analog phone line when they want to communicate with the digital thing. So there's lots of ways that we can do it. A lot of it is education. I'm talking to you and many of the partners out there about our product line, telling you where we are, what solutions we address. But a lot of the webinars that I'm willing to hold with you is, if you want to learn, give me a call and I'll be more than happy to do a one-on-one and educate a lot of the people out there that are transitioning from the analog space into the IP space, so that they're a little more familiar with what they need to take a look at.
Thank you so much for that, Tommy. Very, very good information. And your assistance is very, very welcome. Okay, next question. How do you balance product development between audio, voice, video, and security intercom features?
How do we balance them? I mean, a lot of it is really based upon what the application is. I'll give you a perfect example. When it comes to audio and video, when it comes to access control is door access. You want to be able to access who's at the door. You want to be able to hear them, and you want to also be able to secure them with a secure access code, whether it's a key code, whether it's a BLE Bluetooth feature on their smartphone, or even a smart card. So we combine all of those features into one on the outside, but at the same time, we also have to carry technology inside and to the person, being able to, for the people to access the pictures, the video, the audio, and everything. In the case of senior living, we actually have a phone that's been modified so that we realize the challenges that people like, of the elderly, more so myself, could use much larger keys that are covered with Braille, function keys that are large enough so that they can see pictures of their grandchildren, or perhaps pictures of the contacts that they want to go ahead and reach to really hit those things. But more importantly than that, the accessories that come with those phones, so that when a person can hang on their lanyard, that is batteryless, by the way, which provides 100% robustness, can push a button and be able to issue an emergency call, whether they've fallen in the bathroom or away from their desk, so that they can call for help depending on where they are. So it really is based upon projects that have really deployed IP technology, and we bring about the points that fit that specific vertical.
Thank you so much for that, Tommy. Next question here for you.
Yep.
Can you tell us how you see competition from soft phone / mobile apps affecting your hardware business?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mentioned very early in the slides that we're the technology that touches people. No doubt that mobile phones and headsets and soft phones really do gain access and give people. That is great, that's welcome. However, there are many businesses that run off of different shifts. Take, for example, anything that sort of shares, because when you have a mobile phone or a personal device, you're reaching a person. You're not necessarily reaching a company. So when you reach a company, take, for example, a hospital, a retail space, 911 access, call centers, all of these people, all of these different businesses call in, and those businesses typically have shifts, whether it's shift 1, 2, and 3. You have to share an endpoint so that when a person calls in, that person is contacted with a person, so that even though the intrusion has been done, because what we've actually done is divided these different verticals, whether you wanted to contact somebody. If I wanted to contact Dr. John Smith, if I'm privileged enough to have his cell phone number, I'll call his cell phone. But if I wanted to contact, say, for example, Sutter Health or Kaiser, I contact the company and I have no idea who I'm going to reach, but chances are that person I'm going to reach is a shared environment, and those shared environments always need a common desk phone so people can go ahead and share, maintain, and keep clean. So those things have really not only divided the endpoint requirement, but has also divided how a person wants to get contacted. Like very often, many people who have my mobile phone will contact me directly. But if you wanted to contact Microcom or contact a sales department in Fanvil, they can reach sales, and that sales will bring them into a general number, of which they're going to ask, what region are you from? Because we entertain worldwide, and if you're in Asia, you'll hit our Asia people. But if you're from Americas, you'll come and hit me likely to go ahead and address your questions.
Thank you for that, Tommy. Couple more questions here left for you. The next one, here we go. As obviously Fanvil has recently launched the W620W portable Wi-Fi phone, and you even showed us that with video. Can you tell us a little bit more about its standout features and user scenarios?
Oh, no doubt. It's really standout features is the one thing. When people, I would say 10 years ago, came out, they go, oh, I can answer a call remotely. And this is a lot of it is based on feedback that we get from our partners. And they go, but if you could only put in a speed dial. Well, guess what? That's what we did. You know, when we heard people's feedback, we ended up doing things like being able to put in speed dials where you can reach the right pin or the left pin and being able to see speed dials. But we took it even a step further. Not only will you get speed dials, but you get things like call mute, because everybody wants to go ahead and talk. And sometimes when somebody wants to disturb you, you want to press the mute button. You don't want to look at the screen. You just want to press the mute, assign a key, or being able to do lots of these things right up front. So we provided speed dials right in front of the dial, as well as internal to the meeting. And the end user can set the priority of what is most valuable to them. So this can become a more productive tool. And not only that, but we're one of the first to be able to provide video, so that if you actually see a video intercom on the outside or a camera, you can actually see that person on your phone and react accordingly. So not only do you have just an audio access, you could provide video access, whether it comes from a camera or it comes from a door access phone, all in one device.
Thank you so much, Tommy. Next question here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you prioritize which features make it into a new product release? For example, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, video security integration, and things like that.
A lot of the releases really come in through feedback that we get from our customers and our integrators. Very often, we have device management tools, and the feedback that we get from our partners saying, wouldn't it be nice if we can go ahead and do this? Wouldn't it be nice if we can go ahead and do that? Well, it turns out that we've actually worked with some of the PBX providers and saying, look, people who are out there and experienced in deploying, DECT phones, for example, you realize that there are some things that can't be done without interfacing through that. Through the actual interface of the phone itself. And we took it as far as we can with certain PBX providers that provides that ability to be able to template these things so that it brings you to the 98-yard line, and you can have just 2 yards to go and being able to get this thing operational in the field. So really the priority is keeping it simple for our partners so that oh yeah, that's a great idea. We have product reviews and feature reviews that we get feedback. And then for those that are priority that's stopping them from gaining business, we'll go ahead and do that. And one of the features that we got was they want quicker access. So we added additional speed dials, and some wanted a mobile device outside of the mobile range that could provide video. And this is exactly what gave birth to the W620.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tommy, for answering all of those questions for us today. And also, thank you to everyone attending today's webinar. And if anyone has any further questions, please feel free to contact your sales rep or email us at sales@microcomtech.com. And if you wish to view any of the products mentioned or shown today, please remember that this webinar presentation has been recorded and will be uploaded to our Microcom YouTube channel so we can all view it again. Tommy, thank you so much for sharing this with us today. We will, of course, have you again in the near future to see what else is going on and how things have progressed. And of course, we love the successful relationship between Microcom and Fanvil. Everybody, have a fantastic day.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Tommy. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.